Time could be up for industry-owned company running cameras on fishing boats in and around New Zealand. The trial involving Trident Systems has been compared to allowing the Fox to guard the hen house, and there are now doubts about whether it will be part of a wider rollout of cameras across the entire fishing fleet. Conan Young reports.
Trial of the cameras, Trident Systems, is owned by a number of fishing companies, including Sanford. Sanford's managing director, Conan Williams, took me for a tour of one of the boats taking part.
So this is the hauling block where the line comes in over the side of the vessel, and up above me here is where the camera's installed. It actually moves out from the vessel on a mounting bar, so it actually sits out overboard from the vessel, looks back at the vessel as well as out to sea.
The cameras here are looking out for captures of endangered black petrels and the baited lines the boats use to catch fish in the Hauraki Gulf. The captain is already required to keep a logbook of bird captures, and the camera's only there as a backup.
Statistically, in our own records, we find very low interactions, but unfortunately when you have a low interaction number, it's not always believed by everybody, so this provides independent verification.
Colin Williams says as part of the trial, Trident puts together summaries of the footage it gathers, accounting for 30% of the total amount shot across the entire fishery. These are then given to MPI.
The reviews are focused on the hauling and sorting of the fish as opposed to what's happening outside that window, so it's definitely focused on what's actually happening on board the vessel at the most critical times. So the reviews are focused on that, and the project required an amount of footage to be reviewed and then supplied. The reports to be supplied to MPI, but MPI has access to all of the footage at any time.
I'm next taken by Trident's chief executive, David Middleton, to view footage gathered on another longline vessel while fish are being brought aboard. It provides a good demonstration of the limited ability of the cameras to capture everything that goes on. So how did the birds actually get caught in the line? Oh, we can just see there the fisherman. What's he doing there with the camera?
So he's just giving the lens of the camera a wipe for us. And so the camera in this case, as we saw this morning, is out on an arm off the side of a vessel, so it's quite vulnerable to getting spots of water on it. So we rely on the crew wiping the lens, keeping it clean, in order for us to effectively undertake video observation. So there's quite a high degree of cooperation required with the vessel's crew to make video observation a viable activity.
As well as identifying whether black petrels have been captured in long lines, the other part of the Snapper 1 trial involves cameras on trawlers hauling in large nets full of fish to monitor fish size and species. Auckland University's Glenn Simmons says this is more problematic.
There's problems with identifying the length of fish and also the species of fish. There's a report written early last year that highlighted these problems and the fact that because of these problems it would be very difficult to take a prosecution.
The first place in the world to introduce cameras was British Columbia in Canada. I called one of the foremost experts on the system there, former Department of Fisheries and Oceans researcher Rick Stanley. He told me that in order for their system to work, it was vital the company operating the cameras was independent from industry.
It's not necessarily that fishermen or the fishing industry are dishonest or anything, but in the end you want third-party independent. For one reason, just the optics. The public out there wants to know the fishery is managed and studied well and properly. They're going to be reluctant to believe that, if the fox is guarding the hen house kind of logic.
Back in New Zealand, it appears MPI may have got the message. When asked about perceptions Trident has a conflict of interest, MPI managers have all talked about the fact next year's final rollout across the entire fishing fleet will look very different to the trial involving the industry-owned operator. For his part, Trident's chairperson Jeremy Fleming says despite built-in safeguards to ensure the integrity of the footage it's providing to MPI, its links to industry are likely to have cost it the chance to be part of the ongoing program of electronic monitoring.
IMERS and the use of electronic reporting will only be successful if industry, both quota owners and fishers, are involved in the design and implementation of systems. If that doesn't happen, if the system's imposed, the chances of it failing for various reasons are quite high, or coming at a much higher cost or with a great deal of delay. And Trident could help because we've accumulated a lot of experience in the last year and a half, which is directly relevant. So it'd be nice to think that Trident has a role to play.
The Minister for Primary Industries, Nathan Guy, says no decision has yet been made on which company will operate the cameras, but the process will address any conflicts of interest, real or perceived. In Ōtautahi for Checkpoint, ko Conan Young tēnei.